What a huge victory for the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday versus the Saints. We're going to recap the entire game for you guys here on today's episode of the Rams Digest, as well as talk about Kyren Williams, a little bit of an update of the situation that we've been talking about the last couple episodes and his performance and on Sunday. We're also going to talk about Cooper Kupp breaking a record even though he had a dud game altogether. We're going to talk about what all that means and much more here on today's episode of the Rams Digest. If you guys have not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right here, right now. If you guys go ahead and look at these stats right here, 95% of you guys are not subscribed. I actually went to check out the numbers, and these numbers have not changed. I was going to get a new screenshot, but they're exactly the same as they have been the last couple of episodes because people still aren't subscribing. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me right here, right now if you guys want to see more daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. But victory. You guys see me rocking the Rams chain right here. Let's talk about this. Let's recap this game. Rams versus Saints. A little bit of exactly what I said, right? We talked about this last episode. If you guys didn't catch what I was saying, I simply came out and said, the Rams are going to have some inconsistent play. We're going to do the same old Rams thing where maybe the offense isn't going. Maybe the defense isn't slowing down Alvin Kamara like we kind of want them to. And then we're going to go ahead and win the game. If you guys go back and watch the video if you don't believe me. I said the final score was going to be 21-17. If Group B, or however you say their kicker's name, Group B, if he makes his second kick in the first quarter, I was exactly right with how the final score was going to be. Of course, if he makes a kick, maybe the way they score the game is a little differently. All I'm saying is missed field goal. That's why my prediction ends up being incorrect. But let's go over the details here. 21-14. I was that close to predicting the score exactly right in this game. And just kind of what I expected, in all honesty. I think the New Orleans Saints are not the worst team we have ever seen. Of course, they have Derek Carr, who maybe some people like as a quarterback. Maybe some people think not as much. But at the end of the day, he's a decent quarterback who can move the ball. They still had Alvin Kamara, right, coming off that game versus Saquon Barkley. We were terrified of what Alvin Kamara was going to do. And what does he do? He goes out there and runs for over 100 yards, just under 5 yards a carry, which isn't really bad, but 4.9 yards a carry. Of course, you don't want that number to be that high as a defense. But they did hold them, and I talked about this on last episode as well. They did hold them under, I said 30 receiving yards. They actually held them to 7 receiving yards on 4 catches. So very, very good work from the Los Angeles Rams defense, stopping Alvin Kamara in the passing game, basically making him non-existent. And then in the running game, of course, he gave up some runs here and there, but he is a great player. He is still Alvin Kamara. The good thing is, on the other side of things, we ran the ball ourselves pretty well with Kyren Williams. And I do want to, first of all, I want to say this as we're going to get into this Kyren Williams story of him shutting down the doubters, shuts up all the doubters. I want to emphasize this for a second. I know maybe some people may think that I was hating on him last episode. I wasn't saying move on and drop Kyren Williams, and I'm not trying to go back on what I said. I'm simply saying that maybe that's something you look at moving forward, moving on from a guy like Kyren Williams if you are about to enter a rebuild. But Kyren Williams, he goes out and he shuts the haters up with his performance today. Here's a quote from Kyren Williams. He says, "Continue to be who I am," talking about his play and what he has to do to continue to do what he's been doing, especially after this game. Continue to be who I am. Continue to have fun with this game. When I'm having fun, I'm feeling like I can do a lot of things, create a lot of plays. This week, I'm ready to make that safety miss and have that 60-yarder. I can't wait. Now, the reason why I pulled up this specific quote from Kyren Williams is because it's interesting, right? He was having a good time. He was celebrating the win. He was celebrating the fact that he went for over 100 yards for the second time this season. Yes, just a second time. And yes, we had a little funny moment with the reporter saying that it was his first time going over 100. He did go over just over 100 yards versus the Packers, but his second time this season going over 100 yards. And some people in the comments on our videos here at the Rams Digest were actually saying, hey, Kyren Williams doesn't have that breakaway speed anymore, or maybe he never had it to begin with, and we just need something like that so that we can start breaking off some big runs and make some big plays. To me, this quote specifically is Kyren Williams hearing the haters, hearing some of the doubters. He said, you know what, I had a good game, but this next coming week, I'm ready to break off a 60-yarder because I know there's doubters out there saying that I don't have the breakaway speed. And if I can just dodge one safety, I will break off for a 60-yard rush like I used to a couple years ago. But ultimately, look, again, to talk about Kyren Williams, I'm excited and happy that he actually ended up having this performance. I love Kyren Williams. I want him to be a good player. I want him to continue to be a good player for the Los Angeles Rams. We're going to pull up these stats right here for you guys and pull up his entire stats on the season. 11 games this year, 207 rushing attempts. He is a what are they called? A workhorse running back, right? He just will get the ball, eat the tackles. He'll run up the middle over and over and over and over again. That's the kind of guy I want running the ball for my team. 11 touchdowns on the year, 958 rushing yards, about to eclipse 1,000 rushing yards next game, more likely than not. For a little over 4 yards attempt, 4 yards per attempt. And so, again, that number isn't really too high. But the cool thing is, or the great thing is about this game is that he actually went over 4 yards, 4.2 yards a carry. Again, his average for the season about 4.2 yards a carry. But this game, he was at about 6.9 yards a carry. And that's what we want to see out of Kyren Williams. And again, with the running back position, we do have to remember it's not just the running back. It's the offensive line. It's the blocking attack. And Kyren Williams was talking about this post-game saying those guys, in practice, the media has been talking about it all week. They've been blocking very well, moving the ball, running the ball well in the practice, and it translated perfectly in this game versus the Saints, and that's how they need to attack. Now, the interesting thing, too, we talked about Blake Corum and getting Blake Corum more involved. Blake Corum actually had 8 touches for 42 yards, and I think that helps, right? Taking a little bit of load off of Kyren Williams, helping him kind of have a sidekick next to him to kind of distract and kind of make the defense think a little bit before when Kyren Williams gets on the field. So that way we can kind of just have a different, more of a change of pace, a little bit of a balanced attack in the running game. Today it worked. Whatever they did, do it over and over and over again. Again, that first half, okay, maybe you can't really put the ball in the end zone. That's not necessarily great, but they were on 100% today on their red zone attacks, the Rams were. So, of course, you want to be 100% as many times as possible. Being 100% in the game in the red zone is what you want to see for the Rams. 3 for 3 in the red zone today. Moving on to the next story here. A little bit of a dud game for Cooper Kupp, if you will. Quote-unquote dud, I say. But he breaks a record in this game. For those who watched the game, maybe thought Cooper Kupp wasn't very active or wasn't really doing too much. He caught with his 3 receptions, and we'll pull this up for you guys right now. With his 3 receptions in New Orleans, Cooper Kupp, 625 passes Keenan Allen 624 for the most receptions in NFL history in a player's first 100 games. A little bit of a funny thing too that happened. Actually, Sean McVay did not give Cooper Kupp a game ball. Now look, he didn't really have the best game, so to be fair to Sean McVay, he didn't really pay attention to that or kind of maybe slipped his mind. But what was cool and kind of funny hearing from Cooper Kupp after the game, he actually mentioned that, yes, Sean McVay forgot and did not give him a game ball for it, but he caught him in the shower, kind of funny, but caught him while he was in the shower and just gave him a little shout saying, hey, I saw what you did, found out what you did. Congratulations on breaking this incredible NFL record. And talking about Cooper Kupp, he actually did mention this right here. Sorry, I got to pull the quote up. Receiver, more than any other position, is reliant on everyone else doing their job. Just thankful to have been a part of this organization and to have played alongside the guys that I have. That's Cooper Kupp after the game, talking about how he's got to this point to break an NFL record like this, most receptions in the first 100 games. I mean, there have been so many great receivers in NFL history. From the Randy Mosses of the world, who immediately came in the NFL right playing well, to Jerry Rice's, all these great receivers in NFL history. For Cooper Kupp to be in the position to surpass them in the first 100 games of their career, I mean, nothing short of incredible, I think, and just a testament to what Cooper Kupp is as a player, who he is as a player and as a person. And this quote, the reason why I pulled this up, I mean, just such a humble guy about it, right? The first thing he decides to do is give credit to the guys he played alongside, the quarterback throwing him the ball, the offensive line giving him time to run his routes, right? The teammates challenging him in practice, things like that. Like to shout out all these players that you've played alongside, to shout out the Rams organization as a whole for giving him that opportunity. I think it's just such a cool thing to see, such a humble guy, such a great player to kind of put put in perspective, just how great of a player he is, and how humble of a guy he is, and how well deserving he is of a record like this in a game that wasn't really too great for him as an individual. Still incredible to see him surpass Keenan Allen and go ahead and break an NFL record. Congratulations to Cooper Kupp, and congratulations to the Rams and all you Rams fans out there on a victory. Celebrate this victory Monday, the victory week, hitting the subscribe button possibly to get some more Rams content throughout the week as we prepare you guys for next week's matchup. That's going to do it for me, guys. I'm out.